Let's bring in our political panel. Lots to chew on today. Tim Miller, Executive Director of American Rising PAC, and Chris Kofinas, former Chief of Staff to Senator Joe Manchin, a Democrat from West Virginia. Great to have both of you here, gentlemen. Welcome.
Thanks, Jamie.
Let me start with you, if I can, Tim, and ask you first about this particular time, 100 days. When the president came out to address the media, he basically said, one of the things, hey, it's not my job to get Congress to get along and get stuff done. That's Congress's job. Is he right?
Well, look, the president is continuing with what has been a whine about Congress strategy that him and his team have put in place for the past few months, and it's clearly not working. And instead of talking about the psychobabble of creating a permission structure for Congress to act like he did at that press conference, what the president needs to do is do exactly what all successful second-term presidents have done, and that is come to the table with an agenda that can actually pass the Congress that he has, not the Congress that he wishes that he has. So whether that's tax reform or pro-growth economic policies, those things have a chance to pass. More tax cuts, continuing down the road of gun control, that just isn't going to work, and if he stubbornly continues to push it, all it's going to do is make his second term less and less effective.
Chris, how much time does he have, and when does the focus turn to midterms and then a successor or an opponent? How much time does he have to really focus on the agenda?
The president probably has about a year and maybe a year and a half, and then the midterm election politics takes over, and then after the midterm, obviously, you're going to be right into the presidential cycle. I mean, presidents, it doesn't matter if it's President Obama, every past president in the last 50 years has had these kind of challenges. I think the president faces an even more significant challenge because he's dealing with the Republican Party. I know Republicans don't want to admit it, but they're dealing with a Republican Party in Congress that is divided amongst itself. It cannot even agree amongst itself what its positions are on gun control, immigration, taxes. And so that is, I mean, everyone can sit there and say the president has to somehow sit down and basically give the Republicans exactly what they want. I'm not sure the Republicans know what they want. So this is, I think, a very difficult political environment. And it's what I think is leading to an incredible amount of frustration in the American people. And let me be honest, when you look in terms of who's more popular and who do the American people trust, it's not Congress, it's not Republicans, it's still the president, even with all the challenges he's faced.
Tim, it's been this way for a while, though, where the American public has watched, hoping certain things would get done, where candidates who become president and are in the White House made promises that they face a challenge to get done. But add to the things that you and Chris mentioned that are on the plate right now, the implementation of Obamacare, Syria, Guantanamo, just to name a few. Which one of those do you think is the one the focus should be on for the president so that he builds the legacy he hoped to?
Well, you're going to have to ask Chris about the president building his legacy and what he should do on that front. From my perspective, the most important thing that he can try to do is work on an implementation of Obamacare that actually works, because right now it's a complete train wreck. Max Baucus, the Democrat from Montana, who is an author of Obamacare, said it's a train wreck. Harry Reid, the Senate Democrat Majority Leader, said that Obamacare is a problem, and what this is going to create is even more tension with exactly the Democrats the president needs in order to pass his agenda. These red state Democrats who are up for re-election in 2014 and have a noose hanging around their neck of the Obamacare, the gun control legislation that he's trying to pass, and more tax hikes. This is an agenda that is out of touch with what the voters in Louisiana, North Carolina, Arkansas want.
Let's then let Chris weigh in on that. The gun legislation didn't go the way the president wanted. What do you think he should really push for next?
Well, I mean, in terms of gun control, real quick, I mean, this is a position the president has that roughly 90%, including a majority of Republicans, hold. So the Republicans are on very strong ground on that. In terms of, I think, where the president goes forward, I mean, I think immigration is the one issue where you're seeing at least some consensus. But again, as I made, the point I made earlier, Senator Rubio is out there, talking and pushing immigration reform. He is not what I would consider a moderate or left Republican, and he's getting torn apart and criticized by the right. And so when you have a Republican Party that cannot decide, even on issues that they realize are important for their own political survival into the future, that they can't agree on what their position is, I'm just curious, what is the president supposed to do? Is he supposed to get them in the room and like bang their heads and say, do it?
But we don't have all the answers. But I do have to leave it there. Guys, great points today. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jamie.
Thank you.
Take care.